As we have seen, the range of artificial intelligence tools available is very broad. In this MOOC, we provide insights into the use of LLMs and general-purpose tools which, as we have already mentioned, allow us to carry out all the tasks we need and obtain resources in different formats and structures. But how can we navigate through all the tools we have discussed? Which of the many LLMs available can we use? Let's try to identify some criteria that, like a compass, can help guide our choice. But first, a premise. The various tools offer different responses and functionalities, which may be more or less suitable depending on the topic and the type of reasoning or activity. Request. The more we delve into the details of the interaction, the better we can understand the differences. So the first piece of advice is to try multiple platforms at the beginning to see which one best suits our needs. First of all, we must definitely assess the quality of the response based on our objective. The model must provide accurate information, ideally be able to cite sources, and be transparent about its limitations. Obviously, as already mentioned, the quality of the response also depends on the content you are dealing with. If you are studying a specific topic that requires in-depth content, it is important that the LLM can access specialized sources or articles on the subject. ChatGPT, for example, provides GPTs such as those linked to Consensus, Scholar GPT, and so on, which conduct searches on databases of scientific articles, thus offering links to reliable, specific, and high-quality sources. In the quality of the response, we also need to consider how the LLM is equipped to handle biases, such as cultural or gender stereotypes, perspectives that are overly centered on European or North American culture, or unfounded assumptions which can compromise the quality of the outputs we receive. Let's move on to a second criterion. It's useful to assess the multimodality and the management of different formats by the tool. For example, if your learning involves creative disciplines, you might choose models that better support images, videos, and audio. For technical disciplines, on the other hand, you might need tools that are more efficient at interpreting and generating code, diagrams for data analysis, and processing spreadsheets. Not all tools do this, and so on. A third criterion is related to adaptability and customization of responses. LMs try, in an effort to adapt to our preferences and level of knowledge, to provide increasingly targeted explanations. Some do this by extracting information from interactions, our preferences, characteristics, and main activities. Others allow us to narrow down the context of responses by creating ad hoc spaces where we can upload documents or specific materials to get answers based on that content and relevant information. An example is cloud projects or ChatGPT, which could enable continuous learning because they maintain the reference context effectively and efficiently. To help you better, you could use as the fourth criterion the level of integration of an LLM with your ecosystem of tools and usual workflows. Some LLMs integrate with the platforms and tools we use daily, such as Gemini in the Google Drive suite or Copilot in the Office package. This way, you can speed up learning and immediately put into practice what you learn without having to switch between applications. Last but not least, we come to the fifth criterion that could guide your choice. The philosophy behind the tool's creation, meaning whether it is released as an open source model or under a proprietary license. Open source models are usually free and very transparent, allowing you to verify how the model works, what data it uses, and how it handles security and privacy. Proprietary models, on the other hand, are a bit more like black boxes but offer a more refined and turnkey experience. They are always up to date and they continuously integrate new features and improvements. Of course, cost is also a factor to consider. Many proprietary tools allow a limited number of interactions before requiring a subscription, which can be quite expensive. It's always definitely worth absolutely checking and evaluating the performance level of the free versions, as they might be sufficient for our specific needs. Although LLMs are powerful and versatile tools, it is essential to use them with caution. As we have pointed out, although the information provided by these tools is more reliable, LLMs generate responses based on probabilistic models, and the information is not always correct or up to date. It's important to always verify the answers and thoroughly verify the answers, especially for academic or specific content. Also, another important aspect to consider is related to privacy, as well as data security. When using artificial intelligence tools, never share sensitive or personal information, such as medical data, sexual orientation, political preferences, or religious beliefs, and generally any private details. Always investigate and assess how the model handles your data by checking the dedicated privacy sections on websites, and if necessary, requesting clarifications. Open source models such as Llama 3 or Bloom may offer greater transparency, but proprietary models from well-known companies often have more robust security protocols and greater resources to prevent data theft or misuse. Finally, but absolutely not least, it is essential to keep sustainability in mind. Remember that these tools require a lot of energy to operate, so always consider their environmental and social impact. Favor practices that minimize energy consumption and use them responsibly. Right now, we still don't have the option to choose LLMs that ensure a commitment to optimizing algorithms or in server farm management systems to contain energy costs. But it would be very important to highlight the need for companies to be increasingly transparent about this aspect and to take it into account in our choices.